To Reactions, and I'm Vicky.
Peter here.
Welcome to another episode of our reaction video.
Yeah.
And today you're back with a video. I think it's just a video from the Beatles. Yeah, and that video is about the Beatles got closer to a 1970s reunion than you think.
Yeah, that's the title. Huh?
Yeah, the Beatles got closer to a 1970s reunion than you think.
Yeah, I think after this, particularly this video is about to enclose their about reunion. Their reunion, they were about to be.
Got closer to,
they are about to unite, to come together again.
Yeah, they were thinking of reuniting again.
Oh wow!
That's
wow.
how I got it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you're not sure about it, guys. But it's just basically a video about the Beatles reunion. So as it is our norm each and every day. Welcome so much, and this was courtesy of Dan. So thank you so much, Dan, for another amazing video, and hope you guys will enjoy it with us.
Exactly. For us, anything about the Beatles, we don't know much, but we are ready to explore more.
Of course.
As long as it's about the Beatles, we are in. Or count us in it. So for today, guys, I enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the description. There is a Buy Me Coffee link or a Patreon community link. Okay. There are our two supports link. If you want to support our channel or want to request anything, check our description for those links. Otherwise, let's see the story behind the Beatles. The four Fab. How did it went? How did it go? How, when, and how? Let's go.
I suppose if the Beatles, all the other three, were really wild, keen to do it, and it looked like a real great thing to go and do, then there's like a real slim chance that I'd kind of say, yeah, okay.
It's quite possible, yes. I don't know why the hell we'd do it, but it's possible. Would you like that to happen? If it happens, I'll enjoy it.
We've always really been friends. I mean, we've always talked to each other, you know. I saw everyone. Yeah. Basically, because I'm in England, I see George and Paul. Yeah. And in America, I saw John. I mean, John and Paul haven't seen each other because of the 3,000 miles different, mainly, you know, in the travelling. But that was all. I'm sure if John had still been here, they'd have met each other. We'd have all met each other. You know?
Yeah. Just physically, we're all in different places now, and we don't spend time together anymore.
Okay.
You know, that's the problem. We'd have to get to know each other again, because we haven't sort of hung around together like we did in the past.
That's true.
I mean, it's every.
Oh, by the way, I think most of them really wanted that reunion thing to happen, because as you have heard before, like they're like we were like close friends before, but after that separation, they have each and every one of them have been just in their separate places. They have not got a chance to unite again. But most of them are just into the fact that we can. I would love that to happen.
Yeah. By the way.
Okay.
Everybody's into their own lives. It seems very difficult, the idea of getting together.
The question of a possible Beatles reunion haunted John, Paul, George, and Ringo throughout the 1970s.
Does the media campaign to get the Beatles to reunite annoy you?
Yeah, a bit, you know, but there's nothing you can do about it, so I don't get really annoyed.
The band's breakup in 1970 left a void in their fans, who longed to see them together once more.
Exactly.
Every move, every tour, every collaboration between two or more former members, every rumor opened the door to the idea that maybe, just maybe, it could happen. Over time, the wounds began to heal, but the dream of seeing the Beatles together again never came true. But the real question is, how close did they come to reuniting? Was there ever a serious conversation about it? Were there any moments when it almost happened? In this video, we look back at the key events that could have changed music history.
How close were the Beatles to get back together? Chapter 1. Oh,
sorry.
The adverts chipped in on our chapter 1 on how close were the Beatles to getting reunited together again. So guys, without saying much, it's I think around over another one, but let's go.
Yeah, be patient.
I'm so curious to know how close were they.
Okay, let me just take it back.
That's so bad, but let's
Back
go.
at the key events that could have changed music history.
How close were the Beatles to getting back together?
Yeah, chapter
Chapter
1.
1, The Divorce, 1970, 1972. Paul quits the
We
Beatles.
grew up, I was married with kids, John was getting, divorced and Yoko, Paul was getting Linda, George, and we'd got our own houses and we wanted to do separate things. I don't think there's any one thing, they all came about, it's like divorce. I mean, I just went through a divorce and there wasn't a day that said this is the end of it. I mean, you have all those days that lead up to it, and that's what our breakup was like, like the niggly days and the days aren't so good, and, you get pissed off with that, or that went wrong. So I can't see you putting your finger on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's
the way
yeah.
they blame it on Linda or Yoko, I mean, they are probably factors in it, as much as I was a factor in it.
Well, it wasn't just me. All of us did that. Yeah. It was a kind of reaction we all had. George made an album called All Things Must Pass.
So Paul was among the first who...
He was the
he
first
was
one.
the first to quit the Beatles.
Yeah, to quit the Beatles. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass was a big successful thing. When he toured, he didn't do any Beatles stuff. John, when he did any concerts, it was all Instant Karma, stuff with Yoko. We all left all the Beatles stuff alone because it reminded us of the pain of the divorce kind of thing. And also, obviously, the other question in all of our minds was, is there life after the Beatles? Or do we have to be Beatles all our lives?
The end of the Beatles left all 4 members scarred, but their early solo careers reflected why each needed to move on independently.
Okay.
Ringo started off strong, landing gold records with hits like It Don't Come Easy and Back Off Boogaloo, while also maintaining his acting career and building a solo image. George seemed liberated, receiving international praise for All Things Must Pass and organizing the groundbreaking concert for Bangladesh. Lennon explored his political side and released Plastic Ono Band and Imagine, proving his worth as a solo artist. Paul, despite a rocky start with his debut album and harsh reviews, found his footing with Ram and reaffirmed his need to be in a band by forming Wings. Meanwhile, lawyers, lawsuits over the band's dissolution, hostile press statements, and a clear distance, especially from John, George, and Ringo toward Paul, killed any hopes of a quick reunion.
What?
The wounds were still raw, and the 4 of them tried to distance themselves from anything Beatles-related. A reunion at this point was nearly impossible.
Oh, so sad.
You're a Beatle, you had all the success. Do you think you're going to make it again in the past?
I don't know about as successful as... It's a bit hard to be as successful as the Beatles, I mean, I'm not shooting for to be as successful as the Beatles necessarily, but the main thing is I like to be in work, that's the main thing for me. And if it's successful work, then that's better than unsuccessful.
When you grow up, we don't want to be the crazy gang, which they might know over here, which is British, or the Marx Brothers, which is sort of being dragged on stage playing She Loves You when we've got asthma and tuberculosis, and when we're 50, So a long time ago I said that I didn't want to be singing She Loves You when I'm 30. I said that when I was about 25 or something, which in a roundabout way meant that I wouldn't be doing whatever I was doing then.
Yeah.
At 30. Well, I was 30 last October, and that's about when my life changed.
Do you think it's heading that way? You've really answered.
I didn't read it.
About you reforming
again.
There's
no answer to that.
No answer to that.
No answer.
It's in that for the gods.
Well, we're the gods.
Right.
Another good quote.
Are you tired of people asking you
Report from?
to get together again?
Oh, sorry, I was reading this. I think there was a magazine.
Okay,
report
reports
in the national press suggests that the Beatles will make their comeback this summer at Monticello in New York State, where this missed this week by April. That's totally untrue. The rumor.
Yeah, the rumor that they would be together.
Yeah.
I think who were I think the fans were pushing hard for the Beatles to reunite rather than the Beatles themselves. I think the fans were really pushing. Even rumors were spreading that were untrue. But for the Beatles themselves, you could hear even I think it was John saying that that is I I can't comment on that when he was asked about the reunion.
By the way, and I think it continues saying by that I think this was the concert in Monticello, New York, and it says the rumors emanating from New York imply that John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringostarr had already agreed to play to playing the venue, like they would perform together at the venue. Then it continues. Paul McCartney was said to be still considering the project.
Also, it was like they had maybe approached them differently, individually, maybe asking them, can you come and do this maybe performance here and here, and maybe after maybe maybe they came and maybe they did. I think they were just asked separately, but maybe when someone now sits down and try to think, they are like, oh, I think it's not favorable for us to go.
Exactly.
When you have not maybe sit down as a group and discuss that.
They were just given an offer because they say that Elton John will be invited to take his place, the Paul McCartney's place. And then the last paragraph on the magazine was saying the small town of Monticello is in the what his favorite. He can accept the Beatles have been offered the gig. The Beatles were just offered the gig.
It was like a gig, not like a mutual agreement, like let's reunite or something.
There was a concert, so the planners of the concert saw it better for the group if they could perform together. You know, it could attract numbers
so many
of people. They were like, I think they were really good. If they were not, I think I can say to this personally, these are for them to maybe to deny the offer or not accepting the offer was showing their true acceptance and their true love to music, because they don't just do it for money. They do it because they love what they are doing. You know, if they were maybe artists from our country, Kenya, they could just fake it, script it, and then attend to the meeting after the occasion. Then they separate ways, but they have gathered the cash. They go for the cash, but for
they
them,
go for the cash, and they are like, let's just go full people perform like everything is okay, and maybe even take this chance to visit people, like maybe we are united again
together.
And then when we have gathered all the love, all the numbers, even the money. After that, everyone goes
exactly. And remember, even their occurrence will have bring back their last song, maybe that were forgotten. People could because the views could increase. They will be on the frame light. But for them, because of the love for music, I can say so on my part. Just my views.
They consider it and say, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it to go for the cash. But that's a good thing.
Me too. I think of that. Maybe someone maybe has maybe agreed on that, and then after some good thinking, he's like, okay, I think this is not worth it. I think it will be better when we have sat down as a group and discussed all this before we just accept the offer.
Wow, guys, let's continue.
Not tired.
Because they're always asking me.
Well, I know. Well, imagine if they're always asking you, imagine how many people ask me.
Yeah.
And that's all anyone ever says, you know. And no one of us can answer that. That's the point.
There has been a report recently that you have said that you might get back with the Beatles. Is this true?
Well, I mean, the thing is, not really, no. The thing is that the business worries that were there are kind of gradually clearing up. So there's a possibility to do things with the Beatles and stuff, but I wouldn't think we get back together as a band.
Not going on stage together?
No, I wouldn't think so. I don't think any of us fancy it, to tell you the truth.
Do you think you've all gone your own way so much that you can't get back together musically?
Maybe, yeah. Something like that.
What about the problems of you going to America and John Lennon coming out of America at the moment?
What about it?
I think Paul was really decided on this.
Yeah.
Well, that'll stop you.
Yes. That's the problem, yeah. That's one of the problems, anyway.
It takes a lot to live with 4 people. Over and over for years and years, which is what we did. And we called each other every name under the sun. We'd got to blows. We'd been through the whole damn show. We knew where we're at. We still do. We'd been through the mill together for more than 10 years. You know. We've been through our therapy together many times, you know.
So you're not making a definite conscious effort then to break away from the old Beatles image, are you not?
No, not really, you know. I mean, the only thing about it is the Beatles has finished as a band, so I couldn't very well... could continue it, you know. But this, all we're doing is we've got a new band now, and I'm just kind of continuing. And if it comes out a bit like the Beatles, I don't think it will. But if it did, it wouldn't worry me, you know. It's a pretty good band.
I don't really remember anything about the Beatle days. It seems like a sort of, you know, previous incarnation when I think about it. They can't understand why we should actually enjoy splitting up.
Exactly.
But there's a time, you know, there's a time when people grow up and they leave home or whatever they do and they go for a change, you know, and it was really time for a change.
In August 1971,
Sorry for the pause, but the point where George is talking about, I would consider it like you know, when it's like a relationship or when you are connected with someone, then when it comes some way or maybe lives happen, then you part ways. I think he's now talking about the healing process. Maybe at first it was so hurtful for him. They wouldn't imagine that they will come to separate one day, and now it has happened. Now it is. He took time to heal the whole process and understand that it's really a breakup. And now maybe ask this question, he has now gone through the healing journey and until he has fully healed.
Yeah.
Now he's like, okay, I think I don't feel that pain anymore. But maybe before he will feel that. But now he can't feel it because maybe he has really come to that agreement like, yeah, it is really gone.
By the way.
Yeah.
Georgeharrison organizes a concert for Bangladesh at Madison Square Garden. For the first time since the breakup, two ex-Beatles, George and Ringo, shared a stage. The show was a musical and humanitarian milestone, a glimmer of hope for fans longing for a full reunion. Around that time, George and John were still close. George had even played guitar on Lennon's Imagine album. Lennon had initially agreed to join the concert, but a disagreement with George over Yoko Ono's exclusion led him to back out. Meanwhile,
sad.
Paul refused to attend for legal reasons. He was in the middle of a lawsuit to dissolve the band officially and felt that appearing at the concert would weaken his case. Plus, he didn't want to be associated with Alan Klein, who was helping organize the show. The emotional wounds were still fresh. It was a lost opportunity.
A lot of what he says, you know, is pretty right.
Were you invited on the Bangladesh concert at all?
like, don't bother me, man.
Yes, I was invited on it, yes. But for me, I mean, it's a long story, all that, because, you know, the thing is, like I say, I mean, for me, the only thing is, if I'd gone there, I know for certain, I may be crazy to think it, but I know for certain that it would have been played up as, hey, the Beatles are back together again. You know, it may have only been for one night, but you know, the whole thing would have been perpetuated. You know, when in fact the truth is it's not. It's ended. It has definitely ended. You know, and
I don't really want to go out in a big package tour, especially maybe with the others, because the thing that spoiled the Bangladesh thing for me was it was all about the Beatles on tour. You know, as if the Beatles were playing. And if I go out, I think I'll just go out with people that aren't the Beatles, you know, like other people. So there was a moment where we all think that's a good idea, but nothing was ever settled.
Oh, because I thought it was a great idea.
It might be, but I don't know, you know.
Chapter 2.
And it just happened. That's again why I get taken places. John was there and George was there. So I go to John and say, well, I'm doing an album. Have you got any songs? He says, well, I've got one I'll finish for you. He was in the Beverly Hills with his piano. So he did one song. So he finished a song for me. So George was there. I said, George, give us a song. You know, they're the writers. Have you got a song? So he says, yeah, I've got a song. So I said, well, come and play. He says, okay. And John says, okay. So we have the one track with John, George and Ringo on it, right? Then I thought, well, you know, we'll get Paul. You know, I talked to him as well. So we phoned Paul in England and said, come on, you can't be left out of this. I've got a John track, I've got George's track, and I've got the other two on it, you know. Have you got any tracks? He says, yeah, I've got a track. So I was going to England, so I said, come on, Richard, we'll go to England.
Okay.
Which song was that?
After the breakup, Ringostarr became an unexpected bridge between the former Beatles. In 1973, he released Ringo, his third studio album and first major success as a solo artist. What made it special wasn't just its success, but the fact that all 4 Beatles contributed. They didn't record together, but they were all part of the project. John wrote and produced I'm the Greatest, featuring George and Ringo. Lennon even remarked that it was the closest they'd come to being the Beatles again. Paul contributed 6 O'Clock and recorded with Ringo in separate studios. It was clear they all supported their drummer. They gave him songs, joined in as session players, and celebrated his achievements. While not an official reunion, it rekindled the dream.
How do you feel about the constant rumors, John, that the Beatles will be getting back together? Those crop up probably every couple months. Does that irritate you?
That's a fun
A couple
call.
of years back it might have done, but now, you know, it doesn't at all, you know. And sometimes I think, oh, are they? You know, I mean, it's a weird feeling.
The Lost Weekend.
Meanwhile, John and Paul began patching things up. In 1973, during a break from Yoko Ono, Lennon entered his chaotic but productive Lost Weekend period. He moved to Los Angeles with My Pang and reconnected with old friends, including Paul. In February 1974, Paul and Linda visited him in the studio while Lennon was producing Harry Nilsson's Pussycats. The session turned into a chaotic jam that included Stevie Wonder and others. The recordings, later bootlegged as A Toot and a Snore in '74, were low quality but symbolically important. John and Paul were playing together again.
Oh wow, those are good scenarios that they were about to reunite. But they were reuniting on a separate or a different, or just a few of them. I had chance to do a collab or a featuring each other after their separation.
I think they were still.
There's every chance.
I think they were still supporting each other no matter what. Like even if they were not supporting each other like physically, even the song of Ringo where they featured all of them, but they were not there to record like together physically.
One song,
but at least they're still willing to support each other.
We might just feel like getting together and doing something, you know.
Since the split, each one of the Beatles has gone his own way and has enjoyed a tremendous amount of popularity, but still the question, will they ever team up again?
It's quite possible, yes. I don't know why the hell we'd do it, but it's possible.
Would you like that to happen?
If it happens, I'll enjoy it.
Would you want to initiate that happening?
John was willing.
Well, I couldn't say.
If I could.
If you could, I mean, is it something you would like to see yourself doing?
If I could. I don't know, Ellie, because you know me, I go on instinct, and if the idea hit me tomorrow, you know, I might call and say, come on, let's do something.
The question.
And so I couldn't really tell you. If it happens, it'll happen.
So it is not something that you would totally rule out as never taking place again?
No, my memories are now all fond and the wounds are healed, and if we do it, we do it. If we record, we record. I don't know. As long as we make music, you know.
That same year, Paul mentioned in interviews that he'd recently spoken with John. After a long phone call about Britain's decline, he realized he'd forgotten to ask the big question, would they ever reunite? Paul also told John about his plans to record Venus and Mars in New Orleans and tour the U.S. According to My Pang, Lennon seriously considered joining him to write and possibly tour together. But, as was often the case with John, it was more a passing thought than a real plan.
At one point, he asked me, he goes, you know, I was thinking, I wonder what it'd be like if I started to write with Paul again. What do you think? And I said to him, I said, are you crazy? I said, it'd be great.
He soon returned to New York and reconciled with Yoko, ending another promising opportunity.
Chapter 3?
John was
not
a
yet.
lot of bravado involved in what John said. You don't believe that he meant that? I don't believe it, not for one tiny second. I know for a fact he missed them. He talked to Yoko and she says, yeah, he missed them. I talked to him on the phone. He said, you could tell he missed them, but John was not the kind of guy, you know, he's like, he's the kind of guy you'd thump in the mouth. He said, did that hurt? He said, no. You knew it hurt. How about you? Not that I ever did thump him in the mouth. About me? Even now? Yeah, I mean, I think the point is, you know, that the Beatles was a great band. We came out of Liverpool together. We did a lot of great things together. And so I think there was a point when we missed them. And I think that was shortly after the breakup, maybe the first 5 years after the breakup. After that, I think John would start to be right, you know, that we'd miss them less and less as we each formed our new lives.
Another $1 million offer.
Any
Let's
ex-members of that
have
group
it.
without asking the question that everybody is forever asking. I noticed that you're wearing a sweatshirt that says the Beatles Reunion Tour 76.
Road Crew.
Road Crew.
Don't forget Road Crew. I'm on the Road Crew if they get together.
I'm going to play Robbie Reporter now for a moment.
Yes, go on.
Ooh, let's go.
A Beatle reunion. Do you want it or not? That's a yes or no question. Would you like the four of you to get together one glorious night to do it up on
Yes.
stage live?
As a straight answer, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Now the second question.
No, but you see, that can't be the answer.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you can't lay that on me, you know. It cannot be the answer. There's too much
Again?
Exactly.
to get it together. Yeah, to
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
possible.
yeah. There's too
I
much.
would love for the four of us to play. Don't know if it'll work. I don't see why it shouldn't, because I mean, I just gone from like the Ringo album was John, George, and I was the closest we ever got to a reunion, and it was fine. I mean, I love playing, and then I played with Paul. Well, it was interesting. John and Paul never played their own acts. They both played piano, whatever that may mean. But I mean, John on the last album played guitar. Paul wasn't on it. Paul is a fine bass player. John is the greatest rhythm guitarist around. George is a fine lead guitarist.
Yeah.
And I'm a fine drummer.
Of course.
Whatever I may say.
That's
So,
Ringo.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would dig that. But then you've got to get into the rest of it, of getting it actually together. Like we're all busy. Like what time. Like which
country, yeah.
You know, like what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
by
there's
the
lots
way.
of other questions that go on that haven't been answered until the four of us. I've talked to John about it, and we've gone through it, and you know, I've got my problems about it. He's got his problems. Just if it was a setup on the lawn outside here, and we just happened to be around, we could play. You know, then I'd love it. I'd love it. It doesn't matter where it was, but I mean that would be easy. But to set up this thing takes a lot of crazies.
Yeah, by the
By
way.
1976,
That's true.
seeing all four Beatles active again reignited hopes of a live reunion. Around that time, their former label, Capitol Records, released Gotta Get You Into My Life as a single for the first time, 10 years after it originally appeared on Revolver, in what felt like a quiet celebration of the band's renewed popularity. Capitol also began issuing a series of compilation albums, like Rock and Roll Music, without any direct input from the Beatles themselves. These releases sparked a new wave of Beatlemania and fueled both fan excitement and a flood of reunion offers.
Yeah, reunion offers. It is a very amazing one. Let's go.
I mean,
Are they ever going to get back together?
yeah, I mean, first of all, is there any possibility? But secondly, much more important, do you think that it's a good idea?
Well, that's another point altogether, whether it'd be a good idea or not. You see, it's strange, because at one period when they're asking me, I was saying, no, never, what the hell, go back, no, not me. And then there came to a period when I thought, well, why not, if we felt like making a record or doing something. Everybody always envisages the stage show. To me, if we worked together at studio again, you know, the stage show, something else. If we got something to say in a studio, okay. Now, when I'm saying that, I turn the paper and Georgie's saying, not me, right? It's never got to a position where each one of us have wanted to do it at the same time. I think over the period of being apart, we've all thought, oh, that wouldn't be nice. That wouldn't be bad, you know. I mean, I've worked with Ringo and George. I haven't worked with Paul because we had a more difficult time, but now we're pretty close, you know.
Oh, wow.
This resurgence led to a wave of massive offers from promoters eager to reunite the Fabfour. One of the most famous came from Saturday Night Live producer Lorne Michaels, who in April 1976 jokingly offered the Beatles $3,000, the union minimum, to appear on the show.
Oh.
The National Broadcasting
Arresting.
Company has authorized me to offer you a certified check for $3,000. Now here it is, as you can see, verifiably, it is a check made out to you, the Beatles, for $3,000. You divide it any way you want. If you want to give Ringo less, that's up to you. Just think about it, okay?
Well, are you looking down upon Ringo?
What Michaels didn't know was that Paul was visiting John and Yoko that night at their Dakota apartment. They were actually watching the show. The SNL studio at 30 Rockefeller Center was just a few blocks away. Paul joked that they should take a cab and show up. John was tempted, but eventually decided against it. That private moment both humorous and heartbreaking, inspired the 2000 film Two of Us. Shortly after, Georgeharrison appeared on SNL and tried to claim the $3,000 alone. Michaels declined, saying he needed all 4 Beatles.
I thought that you would understand that if it was, $3,000 for 4 people, then it would just be $750 for each one.
George, we see you.
We've all leading our own lives. It's been 8 years, really. And I don't think an ad in the paper is going to do the trick. We have to want it personally ourselves. And not just to make $50 million or whatever the figure may be. We must do it because we want to be together as people first, and secondly, to be together for the music.
For the music,
Everything else would fall into place, but at the moment everybody is doing their own lives, and it feels to me a bit like saying, please go back to school. That was like our apprenticeship.
Oh wow! I think what just George said says is correct.
True,
they must be together as people first, personally. Then they can be there. Then musically, it will flow.
Yeah, by even the writing, the chemistry will be there.
Flow. Because you can't say you are not in good terms with a person and then you want music to flow
because of money.
No. Yeah, but he's really crazy. Going to claim that money for himself.
But he is one of the Fabfour.
But they wanted all of them. But I feel like they could give him his share.
For how much?
Just they will divide it among the 4 of them and then give it.
900 or 750. No,
yeah, right.
Maybe not say that.
Ever see the Beatles on stage again, either performing or standing together?
Well, I think they stand up for each other every day.
Yeah.
Together.
That's clever.
If you say hi. If you say, to some people arrive, if you say anything with a possible yes in it, of course, then it's all over the world. Ringo says they're getting together. But all I say is...
Sorry guys for pausing again, but I think all of them were really clever on that question wherever they were being asked. Huh?
Yeah, everyone was like, no, if I say yes, you will now put everything on me.
Yeah.
So, or most of them were like, pass the question. I don't know. I don't think.
Or personally, I can say yes, but I don't know about the others. Huh?
Exactly.
And I say no, because, it won't be this year, and I doubt it'll be next year, and it could be in 10 years, it could be in 5 years,
Yeah.
We could actually get together. There's nothing stopping us, really, bar the time and what we all want to do ourselves. I'm not too interested in getting us together right now. I'm interested to go into the studio and we could try and do something.
George Harrison stated, if you want the Beatles, go see Wings. Is that a presumptuous sort of a statement?
Yes, I don't think Wings are as good as the Fabfour were, but they have one of the Fabfour in it, you see, and he's very good.
That's so correct.
Meanwhile, Paulmccartney was enjoying one of his most successful post-Beatles periods. In 1976, Wings toured the US and Europe with huge success. With packed stadiums, glowing reviews, and record sales, Paul had no need to look back.
On the score of the Beatles, why are the Beatles not going to come together again, or when?
The Beatles split in '69, and since then they've been doing fine. And if that question doesn't cease, ain't no one gonna get no peace. And if you ask it just once more, I think I'm gonna break your jaw.
Toward the end of the decade, Ringo had a rough patch. Personally and artistically, he struggled. His solo career was losing momentum, and his drinking worsened. Of the 4, he was in the weakest position for a reunion. By 1977 and 1978, the idea of getting back together seemed increasingly unlikely. Lennon was fully retired, focused on raising his son Sean. George was running his record label and starting a new chapter as a film producer. Paul, left with only Linda and Denny Lane, had to rebuild Wings from scratch. After his arrest in Japan, the band essentially fell apart.
I suppose if the Beatles, all the other 3, were really wild, keen to do it, and it looked like a real great thing to go and do, then there's a real slim chance that I'd kind of say, yeah, okay.
Why did you cancel your mid?
Oh, sorry.
And I'm just getting another slipped information that was it Paul was arrested in Japan?
Yeah, by the way, they've shown that.
Yeah, guys, if you know more about that, tell us. I was saying if you know more about the story, tell us. I'm just curious about it.
Of what could have been. Eric Clapton married Pattie Boyd that March. Paul, George, and Ringo attended. John did not. Not because he refused, but because he wasn't invited. Lennon later said he would have gladly gone if asked. There was never an official reason for his exclusion. By then, he was distant from most guests, and nobody quite knew his mood. Rumors in the UK painted him as a recluse. Though he could legally return to England, he chose to stay in New York. Mick Jagger, who also lived in the Dakota, once slipped a note under Lennon's door. John returned it, asking not to be disturbed.
What?
At the wedding, Paul, George, and Ringo played together in an impromptu jam session. The impromptu performance marked the first time the three former Beatles had played in public together since the group's final performance on the Apple rooftop on January 30th,
We know the Apple
1969.
Rooftop performance song.
What could have been the final chance?
The missing factor is the enthusiasm at the moment.
1980, that's
which is fair enough, you know.
11 years
we did our
later.
bit. I think the four of us would probably just prefer to like leave it as it was, and leave the whole story intact rather than sort of coming back and doing some disastrous reunion show.
By 1980, for the first time in years, a Beatles reunion didn't seem entirely out of reach. John Lennon had come out of retirement and returned to the spotlight with fresh energy. He spent much of the year recording Double Fantasy with Yoko Ono. During this time, he openly discussed the possibility of working with Paul McCartney again. They were back in touch and enjoying a warm, easy friendship.
It was very special to me that we reached that point, actually, because, you know, you'd had the whole horrible thing of the group breaking up. I think we just realized, come on, guys, we love each other. What are we doing? We're messing around. And I ring John, and I was baking bread and got quite good at it, you know. So when I heard John was doing it, it was great. We could just talk about something so ordinary. There's no threat or anything. It was just two guys talking about, well, I don't know, do you leave it overnight? Or what do you do? You know, and so-and-so said, yeah, I leave it overnight in a hot cupboard. And you'd just be chatting, and it was really nice. And I was so glad that we got back to that relationship that we'd always had, you know, when we were kids. We'd lived in each other's pockets for so long that it was great to get back to that.
In interviews, John said he had no issue collaborating with Paul again if the moment was right. Remarkably, in his new contract with Geffen Records, John included a clause allowing him to record and perform as the Beatles if he chose to. It wasn't a firm commitment, but it was an open door. Ironically, while Lennon had distanced himself the most from the Beatles myth after the breakup, he also talked the most about a potential reunion throughout the 70s. Sometimes with sarcasm, sometimes with longing, depending on the day. That same year, Lennon mentioned a documentary Neil Aspinall was working on, The Long and Winding Rope, which would become the Beatles anthology 15 years later. For many, this was the ultimate sign that all four were ready to reflect on their past together. Also, at the end of November, Ringo visited John Lennon in New York to participate in the recording of Stop and Smell the Roses. Lennon offered Starr 2 demos, Nobody Told Me and Life Begins at 40, and they set January 14th, 1981 as the date to record the songs. But the tragedy of December 8 not only ended Lennon's life, but also the dream of a Beatles reunion. It's easy to imagine that he had lived. Live Aid in 1985, or some special event might have brought them back together. Not as a band, but perhaps for one last performance. But it never happened. The last time all four Beatles were in the same room was in October 1969. After that, just fleeting reunions, pairings, phone calls, sessions apart. What remains is the music, the legacy, and the what-ifs that still echo through time. In 1980, outside the Dakota Building in New York, a fan asked John Lennon when the Beatles would reunite. Smiling, he replied, "Tomorrow."
I think that is it. Yeah. Oh, he said he finished it well because he said that their music will still remain.
Exactly. No matter what, at least we now know the Beatles because of their music, their performances when they were still together and all that. But what I've learned about it is like no matter their breakup, at least they were still coming through for each other. Like you will see John and Paul, sometimes they are together. There was a time where they were in Ringo's song, like they came through for him. I think even when they did not come together as a band once again, but at least they were still coming through for each other in their personal issues or maybe even musically.
By the way, but also these are just give me some questions about the Beatles. So after their separation, there was a case that was being on court for them for either of them to perform anywhere with the Beatles title. I've just noticed that.
Oh, even the time where I think it was John, he was signed under a record label, and he was given a chance he can perform as a Beatle if he wishes.
That's I think 10 years later when they started to talk to Paula on our friend zone now, with
they became
no
friends
issue.
again.
But what a good story. What I can just echo is that for us, the VP Reacts family, I think we have known them for a year or something now, and that's a mark around 56 years later. Their music still stands strong.
Exactly.
That's how strong the art that they brought to the music will still stand forever. I believe so, because they produce something timeless, and being the one of the founders of the Long Live the Rock and Roll music, they will still be remembered.
Of course they will, because they're like the term Beatles will still be known around all over the world, even if they didn't get a chance to reunite as a band again, but their music will still remain with us.
And I remember the time that we were referring to them as Beatles. There is a time I went.
Before we got to know how
the
to
Beatles. I was saying we were really knowing them. We
But
knew
they
them
were-
as Beatles.
because it was our first time, we had never heard of them before.
But we just got under their music. We knew them, but on the name we were saying Beatles.
I love what they also said on what the fans were just up to. I love the fact that the fans were really enjoying them together, loving them together. So the fans were really pushing hard for them to get reunited, and even at some point spreading rumors that they will be performing and all that. I don't know, when they just see maybe one stock, they're like, okay, the Beatles are reunited. It's there. I love the way the fans were really pushing hard. That shows that the fans were really loving them. They were really happy to see them working together. But for some reasons, I think
it didn't happen.
It didn't
But
happen.
what I can also echo about them is that after their separation, despite the separation, their heartbreak, they all stood strong.
Exactly.
For years, they continue their journey strongly,
You
and
could
their
see
fan
even-
base continues supporting them.
Exactly. When Paul was into the Wings band, John was into some music with the Yoko, Ringo, each and every one of them was just continuing, trying to fight hard and try to get their lives to become
in
more
music,
stronger.
and they were really talented for sure.
Exactly.
Remember, after separation, you still remain on the you still remained on the game. You still remain on the game for a period. But guys, these are very amazing. I can say amazing lesson, amazing exploration, amazing video for us. Thank you, Dan, for this one. Many more to come, because they give us more knowledge about
By the
what
way,
we love
videos like
doing.
this one, even give us a little of some history about the musicians we are doing, because most of them are quite new to us. So getting to watch these videos, we get to know their histories, to know their background and all those.
Back then when we were doing Beatles, then we jumped to Wings. I was kind of confused how did they came to Wings.
Exactly.
And then there is a Beatles. Now I have the really
We understand
story
why.
and how did it go, how did it go, and so on. So guys, thank you for watching. Share your thoughts. Give us some answers on the question that we posted. It's we're really curious for more. We are just like our kids. So they usually ask more.
Yeah, maybe even if you have more stories to add with it, kindly share with
more
us.
videos, please. Bring more movies and many more, because this is what we love doing: exploration, learning about what you guys were enjoying back then, but for us we are enjoying it now and we are really enjoying it to the fullest.
Otherwise, thank you so much guys for watching. Remember, our buy me coffee is right there. In case you have another video, drop it on and we'll appreciate. Thank you so much, Dan, for this, and we hope to see you on our next video.
We out.
Bye bye.